Opening air was really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was really good.
I like the fact that they, because it was kind of like, it kind of starts off as depressing, and then it kind of gets into this whole, he's getting to a happy place in his life, and I'm like, all right, I'm buying it. Like, I didn't know how the movie was going to be, but it was very depressing for the first half of it, and then he meets this girl, and, like, they're getting along. I'm like, I kind of felt good, and then...
Yep.
I was like, oh, man.
I saw that coming.
I didn't.
I saw that coming.
The movie did a good job, because I didn't really... Because obviously there was something going on, but I did not see it coming. When he got to the house and the kids were there, I was like, oh, my God. And I'm like, he's fucked.
I was like, there's no way this movie's going to end on an up note.
Well, and then it got worse, because then he just got his old job back, but now he's just continuing to do what he used to do.
Yeah. Oh, no, but the end is, the whole thing is, now that he can go anywhere he wants, where does he go? So it ends, like, again, it's
but it ends with him just continuing to do his job, and he's just going to be stuck in that rut
That's
again.
the way you could look at it.
That's
the
way
you could look at it. It's like the lion and it's the lady and the tiger, you know. It could be either, he does move on with his old life, or he does like the girl says, which is, I would just look at the board and go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah.
It could be interpreted, but I always usually interpret it as the most depressing ending.
Hello everyone, this is the Comic Culture Warrior video channel. Thank you for joining us here on CCW TV. I am Elliott Serrano, and this is Jose Melendez here in Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois, where Jose and I take time every week to talk about comics, the comic book industry, comic culture, and anything else that comes to mind. If you've never watched this show before, I am a comic book writer, and Jose works here at Dreamland Comics as a comic book vendor. So we try to give some interesting perspectives on the industry, but don't get us wrong, we're both fanboys at heart. So, although no, we're a different breed of fanboy. We still haven't come up with that term that we wanted to use. That's different. Fanboy.
We did use comic book connoisseur.
Comic book connoisseurs.
I like that a little bit better because it sounds pretentious.
We're CBCs, comic book connoisseurs. That does sound pretentious, yeah. But anyway, today we have a couple reviews and a couple topics of conversation. Some things that have been going on around the internet. Actually, things that you, the CCW TV viewers, have been bringing to our attention. And things to rant about. Really big things to rant about. But before we get into that, did you get a chance to listen to my appearance on Chicago Now Radio?
No, I meant to, and then
no big.
I didn't.
Just so you know, I also write a column called Geek to Me, and you can read that blog over at chicagonow/blogs/geek to me, or just go to redeyechicago.com/geek to me. It's something separate from CCW TV, where Mr. Melendez here isn't as much involved because he's busy with the CCW TV blog.
And plus, they don't pay me, so that's why I'm not doing anything over there.
Yeah, not doing anything. In either case...
Why would I if I wasn't getting paid?
In either case, I have been embroiled in somewhat of a love triangle. There are two other bloggers on Chicago Now, Anna Fernat of the Accidentally Sexy blog, and Stephen Markley.
Who's my new hero.
Your new hero, right, I know. Who writes a column and a blog called Off the Markley. Now, you didn't hear the radio appearance, but you can see it via podcasts. I'll have links up on our blogs to point you in that direction. But I called Stephen Markley out on his he can out-geek me kind of thing. Now, just before we get into that, why is Stephen Markley your new hero? I mean, you said it so eloquently on my Facebook page.
Well, I did. Well, I don't have his blog in front of me. I don't know the exact quote, but it was the fact that he is a borderline alcoholic. he is uses his narcissism to cover up
his raging. I'm sorry, his using his something to cover up his obvious insecurities.
Yes.
And appearing to be right.
And so with that in the borderline alcoholic and just all around douchebag kind of like. I can relate to that, and I can relate to that more than I've ever related to anything that you've ever read or said.
Yeah,
so,
right.
If I had to pick between you and Markley, who would get the girl, I would obviously say Markley because he.
Right. You between me and the douchebag, you'd go with the douchebag.
Yeah,
right.
Because he reminds me of me. And I would like to think at some point, someone like me could get the girl.
Oh, but you could.
So I'm living vicariously through him.
Oh, Stephen Markley. Just so if you have never seen this guy, the guy is a really handsome dude. I mean, he's a handsome guy. He's a good-looking guy, and yeah, he's admittedly.
Oh, is he? No, I can't relate to that anymore.
Really, no.
Maybe I'm relate to you again now.
There you go. See, because we're not.
Yeah.
He's handsome. We're not so much. He is a raging douchebag. I mean, the guy walks around. He does. Those mirrors that you have on your bicycles, so that you can always see behind you. He has one of those on his shoulder, but just so he can look at himself every time he's walking around. And if you want to distract Stephen Markley, let's say you're in a fight with Stephen Markley, and he's going to get the upper hand, just hold up a mirror. He'll see himself. That'll distract him enough for you to get away. So in either case, he tried playing the whole he's a bigger geek than I am. Saying stuff like, oh, when I was in college, I hung out in the nerd dorm. I couldn't talk to girls for 2 years and blah, 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 blah. And yet now he's propositioning women to make out behind dumpsters, get drunk, throw tomatoes, and burn cigarettes on his chest.
That's all classy shit, though. I don't see anything wrong with that.
But
the dumpster thing, that's pure class.
But if he's a bad boy, if he's a bad boy,
no,
yes.
Making out behind dumpsters, behind dive bars, that's a lost art.
Is it?
Yeah, I think he might be single-handedly trying to bring that back. I would like.
He's bringing it back. He's bringing the sexy back there.
Bringing the sexy back.
So I'm telling you,
dumpsters.
but. I tell you, if Stephen Markley, if he wants to play the whole I'm a nerd, then you got to dump this whole bad boy persona. You can't
have both.
Can't have both. Sorry.
No.
But you know what? I really think he's a nerd. He's just hiding it. He's a real nerd. I found some old video of him on the internet.
In his blog, he actually, I think he just gave away the fact that everything about him is a facade.
And he's a nerd. He talks about writing a 10,000-word essay comparing Superman to Batman, saying Superman is an archaic character, should be discarded, whereas Batman is the true American story. Geeks don't write 10,000-word essays. At best, they'll do a PowerPoint presentation.
I don't even think about writing a 10,000-word essay about that topic. Yeah, see, because that's beneath me.
He's a nerd. He's a nerd. Only nerds write topics like that. So I'm gonna tell you,
quite disgusting.
I will say this: if you decide to go out with Steven, like I hear you're gonna do, you're gonna feel kind of dirty afterwards. You're gonna feel dirty, kind of like how I felt dirty after reading this. The Siege #1 by Brian Bendis
and Olivier
Copiel.
Or Quapple.
Quapple.
Whatever.
With inks by Rags Morales. Oh, Mark Morales, not Rags.
Ink stud Mark Morales, the guy
Morales.
who makes everybody better.
And colorist Laura Martin. Chris Iliopoulos was the letterer. This is the big event. I know everyone's been talking about it. You also reviewed it on the blog.
I sure did. I reviewed the hell out of it.
You did review the hell out of it. It was a really good review. And I'm going to give you props that you decided to not do the whole just bash Bendis. Because people are expecting you to write the review and go, oh, well, Bendis did it, so it must suck. And I give you credit for doing your darndest to keep your objectivity. So
yeah, I know.
I'm going to pull one of you, and I'm just going to lose my objectivity. Just because this brought back my disdain for events. After DC's Blackest Night actually kind of revived my interest in events, The Siege just diarrheaed all over it. And it has really nothing to do with the content itself. The artwork in The Siege is incredible.
Top notch.
It's top notch, yeah. You know, for what it was, Bendis's script was pretty compact, and he had a lot of stuff going on, and he did move the story around. So knowing that he only has 4 issues to tell this story, you know, he decided to get rid of all this decompression stuff.
Yeah, which was the first thing that I know when I read the book. I was like, wow, there's no decompression.
Yeah.
But there's no middle ground. It's like every page in here needs to be in here, and it's like, you know, one page is one scene, then the next page is like just a new scene. It just keeps moving things along. But there's like stuff falling between those gaps
right.
that a lot of it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
And they're going too fast. So while I love the fact that he is not doing decompression, you can't do like the complete antithesis of that.
Right.
And either or, like, both ends of the spectrum aren't going to work. You got to find a middle ground, and this is not the middle ground.
And on top of that, and now here's the big problem I have with the Siege right now, and this really relates back to the problem I've been having with Marvel in general. This is a $3.99 book, okay? And there are 23 pages of original artwork.
Instead of the regular 22.
Although that 23rd page is just a big splash page of Steve Rogers dressed as Captain America.
I like how Steve Rogers just like hangs out in his house dressed like
watching
the news.
Yeah. Oh shit. I mean, you know, he was like taking out the garbage and stuff. That's all he could find to go out in. And then we have all this back matter. You know, all this back matter, and it just some script pages or something in the back, and they got misprinted.
They got misprinted. There was four, or actually 5 with the introduction page to the scripts, and one of the pages was reprinted twice, so that meant that one of the pages didn't even make it in there.
And then you have this Fall of the Hulks preview,
6-page preview.
I have no idea why this is in there.
Well, because it was in a bunch of all the other books. It was in like 3 other books that I saw this week, so it's not exclusive to this.
Oh, there you go. So now when I didn't want to read this. I didn't want to read this, and Jose said you should read it because we should talk about it. The big thing, I know. Right. So I said fine, and then Jose goes. I sat down, I read it. Jose goes, "You're done already?" I go, "Well, the fact is, I don't need to read the first 5-6 pages because they've already put those 6 pages out on the internet and in every other book that was out there, so I can just skip over that and just jump into everything else." And then I finished that part, and I zip through. You know, again, Bendis doesn't waste a whole lot of time. He does move things along very, very quickly here. And bam, I get, let me see, I'm in the middle, here's the middle of the book here, where the staples are. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages past the middle, the story is over. And then all this in the back is just extraneous stuff.
Well, it's a 3-page Cup of Joe where it's Joe just hawking the trade paperbacks to all the major storylines that came before this, so you can go out and buy the trade paperback.
Right.
That's all it is. It's just a one big ad for trade paperbacks.
And then this Ares War Plan transcript, which is drawn. And then this preview, which, you know, you're going to be seeing this when you buy the actual book itself. On top of that, because of the snafu with the reprint in the back, Brian Bendis has been saying all over Twitter, and they've been saying all over the internet, that you can now get this back matter on the internet for free. Yeah. For free. So now they're putting out for free something that you paid extra for.
Okay, but it doesn't even stop there. Marvel has now come out and said, and Brian Bendis also said, that the pages that were misprinted, all 5 of the transcripts, are going to be reprinted in the issue number 2. Okay, it's out for free right now on the internet. Okay, you've already printed them once in here. Are you telling me that you're going to reprint 5 pages again from the first issue that
and
you paid for,
and charge people for it again?
Okay, here's my question: what are they going to add 5 extra pages to the book and not raise the price, or are they going to replace something that was going to be in there with those 5 pages? Because if they're going to replace something, those things probably didn't need to be in there in the first place.
Right.
And that is fucking shady.
It is.
That is shady.
After reading this, and I know that fanboys are just going to be pissed about what we're saying right now, because they're going to be, oh, it's a rockin' book, man, there's fights, it's everything. Why, you know, why can't you guys be happy with anything Bendis does? No matter what he does, you guys aren't happy. Well, you know, I'm going to be frank with you. After reading this, I can see why J. Michael Straczynski left the book. Why he couldn't... I'm sorry, why he left Thor. I can see why he thinks this is completely unnecessary. This series, I'm sorry, folks, is completely unnecessary. You don't need an entire miniseries to tell the story. This story could be told within the Avengers books. It is essentially the story of the reunification of the Avengers, right? Bringing back the Avengers. You could easily make this a crossover between Avengers and the Thor book.
But see, I just thought of this. Now, here's going to be interesting. What the hell are they going to do in the New Avengers and not Mighty Avengers? But what is Bendis going to do in New Avengers that he's not going to be doing in here? Because we all remember what he did with Secret Invasion, where he did flashback stories. Yeah. That was a bunch of horseshit.
That's going to happen.
But what is he? I don't think he's going to do flashbacks.
All those things that you say are falling between the cracks, he's going to deal with it in the Avengers books, and that's when you're going to get that.
I can see that because it is going to be backtracking.
Because that's what he does all the time, and that is the one thing that infuriates me with this event stuff, that you can't get the whole story by itself in the main series, and just if you want a little extra stuff and other, you know, backstory, or not even backstory, just, you know, the extras that enrich the main story, then fine.
And that's why Blackest Night is working for the most part.
Right.
Is because all this other stuff, all the miniseries and Green Lantern, those are all stuff that do enrich the story. Whereas this, if you need to go back and tell me parts of the story that I missed in New Avengers or in Avengers Initiative, or if that's what those are going to be about, then that's doing it wrong. Now, I can't really say that that's what's going to be going on, because obviously those books haven't come out yet. But I am going to be interested to see what he deals with exactly in New Avengers. And if it is missing stuff from here...
You know,
but again, the New Avengers weren't even in this book. It's Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Mm-hmm. So, you know, maybe, I don't know.
And I'll be frank. I'll be perfectly frank. If this book is $2.99, hell, I'll even give it $3.50. I will cut them some slack on all this. I'll cut them some slack. But the fact that it's a whole $1 more, it's just crash commercialism. Mm-hmm. There's really no artistic merit to doing this book the way they're doing it.
And to add to that, there on CBR there was a interview with Brian Michael Bendis talking about, it was like kind of like a director's cut where they were going in page by page.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah.
And he was talking about this back matter stuff. Well, I hope you get used to that, because he said that he believes that fanboys love this kind of stuff, and to get used to it, because this is what the extra pages are going to be in his $3.99 books.
Oh yeah, no, because why produce more?
So instead of like doing backup stories like DC is doing, you're going to get this. This is going to be your backup material.
Right. They call it like the extras you get on a DVD. I think that's one of the parallels he's made. Call me when it's over. Wake me up when it's over.
Yeah, but we actually didn't really get into the story and stuff. But again, I did
go to the blog.
Review. Go to the blog because I didn't want to really talk about it again. This is all for Elliott to get out whatever he needed to get out after reading.
Because it pissed me off. It just pissed me off. I'm done. I'm done with it. When we return, we have more rants and yet another event review. Hope we see you then.